Hello YouTube. This is going to be the first video of my kind of identity. SeniorWebDeveloper.life. And today I want to talk about just beginning. And just beginning projects. And just beginning to learn something. And just beginning everything. And just putting yourself out there and putting your effort out there. If you're not embarrassed by your first attempts, you waited too long. If you wait until you're ready, you'll never be ready. You say, oh, I've got to have this, I've got to have that. You're not going to be ready. When I was first starting my career as a web developer, actually, when I was just kicking around in my spare room trying to learn how to be a web developer, I had a few enormously ambitious projects. This was back in 1998. And one of the things I went so far as I got a domain name, and it was going to be howtodoitnow.com. And this is, 8 years before YouTube, but my previous career, I'd been in video, and I said, wow, the internet's going to be a place where people are going to watch videos and learn how to do stuff. And the concept was good. I didn't have any idea how to do anything on the internet. And what I did instead was I filled books and books of plans. I did eventually learn how to use MySQL, PHP, but even those were pretty new at the time, and there was no internet to speak of, really. There was no YouTube, there was no Stack Overflow. But what I didn't do was I didn't start. I planned and planned and planned, and nothing was perfect enough, and I didn't start. And I decided at the time the only way you could really do video on the internet was QuickTime. And I said, wow, I'm going to become an expert in QuickTime because that's going to be a thing to do. So I put my head down and I got big books on QuickTime, and I learned a lot of stuff about QuickTime. I learned how to make QuickTime export files and make MIDI recordings and different videos layered upon layer, and the format allowed you to do that. But I missed something very important, is that nobody cares. Nobody cares that you could save files from QuickTime, and it was useless. And I ignored the advice of somebody at the time who said, hey, just put your shingle out there and try it. This was somebody who had started building websites in about that time, 1998. And I was like, wow, I'm not ready. One of the most important parts of throwing yourself out there to learn something or try something new is that once you have something completed, even if it's terrible, you have something to start from. So for example, once you've made a web page that works, your hello world, in whatever language, that's something you can start from and build from and go on from there. Part of what I recommend doing outside of your life as a web developer is learn other skills and just start. And one really good skill to have for yourself, no matter what you decide to do, is learn how to prepare your own food. And it's like, well, what does that have to do with web development? Well, you've heard the phrase, you want to eat your own dog food. So if you're making an app that does your shopping list, then you want to use that app yourself, and you'll find, gosh, this is really annoying. I want to be able to sort, or I want to be able to do this or that. So you eat your own dog food. But learning how to cook is actually a way to eat your own food. You're adapting and learning over time. So your first thing you make is going to be horrible. You're going to burn eggs, or maybe you'll want to specialize in sandwiches. And so you start making good sandwiches for yourself, something that you're going to like. Like you start with peanut butter and jelly. It's like, oh, I really like this particular bread, or I like try toasted or not toasted or whatever. So that's a very simple thing. And today I'm going to share with you a very simple recipe for making tilapia on rice, and it's super easy. You can also make this with any other kind of fish, cod, but cod's really expensive. So if you have cod, make something better. The tilapia is kind of cheap, and the salsa has a very strong flavor. You start with the tilapia that you get, You start with a jar of salsa and seasoning if you want. You have some rice if you want, or whatever you want to put it over. Potatoes, if you're keto, you put it over a piece of cheese or whatever. Start your pan, put a little garlic, tiny bit of oil, put the salsa into the pan. Always thaw fish with water. Once you have it thawed, you just cut them open. I use this dedicated pair of scissors for kitchen stuff that might touch food, so I can put the scissors in the dishwasher. So you open that all up, drop them in there, start your rice cooking, put the lid on, cook it for about 12 minutes, and it's done. And then I have 4 meals, and that's 4 fewer decisions that I have to make for the next couple of days, because I know that the meals are already there. So why am I talking about cooking tilapia when I'm talking about web development? How are you going to build an API response, right? So could you hard code it? Is something going to happen? Could you hard code the format and just replace a variable? That's really ugly and could get you slapped around. But if it's a minimum viable product, I worked on something like that was really just a proof of concept. The code stayed in there, and that made the company millions of dollars. But it was a very simple thing. Hard-coded result. This XML, just all typed out with a couple of variables replaced. We didn't make a ton of classes. We didn't make, use a gigantic framework. It's just like they hit an endpoint. We set the stuff back, and it was very useful for the business. Voila. And I didn't come up with that. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, this code sucks. But it got the job done. So where my point is you just get started, and in a very little time, this guy is very bright, put that together. I was like, wow, that's not even really code. It's just like just substituting a couple variables. But the point is, he got it started, he got it created, he got it done, and it was ready for the client presentation in 2 days. And he was able to demonstrate something that worked in 2 days, and it worked well enough that we just put it right into production use, and they just started paying for it. It was brilliant and a big learning experience for me. Ignore the haters. They're going to be there. It could be a family member. It could be a parent. It could be a spouse. It could be a child. It could be a friend. It could be anybody. Somebody on the internet. People are going to hate what you do. That's just it. This is just life. So you can get inspired from that, or you can ignore them. I choose one of those two. Ignore what other people say. Unless they're praising you, but also ignore that too. Because if you come up with an idea and somebody's excited about it, that's great. You can use it to inspire you to do more, but also temper that with, they might not do it. Like, for example, if you're asking people, it's like, hey, is this product a good idea? Or is this app, is this going to be a good idea? Most people aren't going to tell you to your face that your idea sucks. They're going to say, yeah, I think that would be great. And then you say, wow, would you pay to use it? Yeah, I'd pay $10 a month for that app. Probably 90% of the people that would tell you that they'll pay 10% or $10 a month for your app won't do it. It's just a fact of life. So, try to get inspiration from what they say, but don't take what they say seriously. You really have to chart your own course, and in order to chart your own course, you have to just start doing stuff. Take pride in your small gains. It's like, hey, I made a web page today. Hey, I made a contact form that works. Or I was able to move an image around with CSS. Stuff like that. Those little skills, it starts creating like a mulch of skills and bigger skills. And from the little skills, you can put them together to make bigger skills. In order to kind of graduate from being a junior developer to a senior developer, you have to have pretty thick mulch of exposure to skills. So you're going to have to know a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you're going to have to be exposed to, you know, what's JSON like? What's JSON like on the server side? What's JSON like client side? You know, I've used you know, a templating engine on the server side, a templating engine on the client side, and you probably won't be a deep expert in anything, but you'll have been exposed to things. Just like back with the cooking, you might not be a Gordon Ramsay type of person, but you might be able to make a few things that you know you're going to like. You might be able to recreate my tilapia recipe. It's not even mine, I forget where I got it. You might be able to cook a steak the way you like it. You might be able to make some eggs that you enjoy, and those things will add up. It's like, oh, I can make my own eggs, fried eggs. How about scrambled eggs? Okay. I like scrambled eggs. How about an omelet? Ooh, I burnt the crap out of that. Well, try again. Go to a restaurant. Look what they do. Learn a little bit. Just like with web development. Go to a website. It's like, wow, that's really cool. How do they do that? Right click, inspect element, see what they did. See what JavaScript library they have running on the page. Here's to just beginning. Here's to having the first thing you do be pretty embarrassing. But it's a way to start. If you like what I'm doing, you subscribe to this channel. Check out my website, SeniorWebDeveloper.life. I have a link to that in the description. There you have it.